Hi everyone, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So I'm going to do a ghost swipe. I like my ghost swipes, but I have got this canvas board, or these boards. So I've got a whole bunch of them and I thought I really need to use some of them up. So it's a 10 inch by 20 inch, so 25.5 by 50.8 centimeters. So that is the plan, to use that. They do have a tendency to warp a little bit when drying. So I got to see what I can do to hopefully not let that happen. So hopefully it doesn't warp, but we will see. I find it's going to warp less if I do a ghost swipe, which has got less paint on the surface, than I did something like a flip cup, which has more paint on the surface. So I have mixed up my white, which is marte white, 1 part paint, 4 parts floetrol. I probably have too much paint here for this size canvas, but I can always put a little lid on it and use it another time. And the colours I'm going to use are, so I did a garnet and amethyst the other week. I'm actually going to try garnet and sapphire. So this is deep sapphire and garnet, both decoart metallics, mixed 1 part paint, 3 parts floetrol. So they're metallic. I gave them a shake about an hour ago, but just giving them another little shake before I use them. And I also am using holcroft silver, 1 part paint, 3 parts floetrol, and black, which is 1 part paint, 3 parts floetrol from holcroft as well. So the black will tend to, just a plain black will see, start that again, it will give me more lacing than if I didn't use a plain colour, so I always try to add a plain colour into it. Sorry, it's really, today was 44 degrees, so it was super hot. And the bugs have come in for a bit of refuge into the house. I don't know how they might find their way in, but they did. So I just got to try and keep them away from the artwork. So these artworks are drying relatively quickly lately because of the heat. So I'm just putting on probably 3/4 of the cup for the moment and see how that goes. Where's my gloves? Here we go. So the easiest way is just going to be to tilt this. So because you don't have to cover the sides so much, well, there's not really much sides to these canvas boards. It's more just a matter of getting the paint over the whole surface. So I may have to add more paint onto it. I just thought if I add a bit, then I can always add more. Okay, so that side's done. Now back this way. Only thing I find with these is it's harder to hold because you haven't got really a lot of spots to hold it. Alright, that side's done. Sorry if I'm off camera. I'm just doing a base coat. It's not the most important thing to watch. I think I need a little bit more. Alrighty, whoa. That was a little bit more than a little bit, wasn't it? Just wet this corner so it glides over a bit easier. There, that's better. Oh, there is a bit more paint on here than I first thought. Okay, that side's done. Now I've just got one corner to go. It's kind of good when you do these. You actually want a lot of the paint to come off. You don't want a lot sitting on the canvas. The paint is there, it just doesn't want to move over this just dry parts too easily, so I'm just going to help it. There we go. Alrighty, now I'm just moving some of this back towards the middle-ish, just so it evens itself out a bit. Okay, that should be good enough. So I'm probably going to actually give this one away on this board. I've got a couple of people at work that keep asking for artwork, and the boss wanted one in the office, whether whether it stays there or not, or whether they like it. You never know. So we will go probably do the garnet first, I think. So I'm just going to do my normal go swipe squiggly line, starting roughly in the middle and try and go off to the middle. Start off the canvas, come onto the canvas. And these are the metallics, they will bleed a little bit. So there is a fair amount of paint there, especially for this size canvas. I was going to go a bit easy with how much paint I used, but I forgot to. So now, oh well. Now, the blue. So they're quite wide lines, like wiggles. Sometimes I do my wiggles a lot more tighter. Sometimes I do them a bit more wiggly. We will go black now. So the black I'm going to try and do more wiggly, if that makes sense. It does look like it is sinking a little bit. I'm not going to add a second line. I was going to add more, but I'm not going to, because the black sometimes doesn't show up until you start swiping, and then you go, whoa, there's a lot of black there. So we'll just go with it and see how it looks. And now the silver. That wasn't too even. Got some heavy bits and light bits, but we're swiping. When you swipe, you can often swipe away errors, or not really error as such, unplanned events, we'll call them, because it's not really a bad thing that it's different. It's just not what I had planned in my head. Always remember that. Just go with the flow sometimes. Don't allow your artwork to stress you out, because it's supposed to be fun. So these are going to be, so often when I do my ghost swipes, let me get one for you. So this one here, they're quite light. The colours kind of wash off a little bit, quite ghosty. This one's going to be very heavy. It's going to be a deep, rich one, because let me just, yeah, because there's a lot of paint there, it will end up becoming a lot more richer. So there won't be a lot of that ghosty effect as such coming off to the ends. But that's why we do different things. Gives ourselves some different effects, the way things look different. And as you can see, that paint covers nearly 1/3 of the canvas. So there's not a lot of room to swipe it off with. So and I'm using a paint card cut into 3s. So half off the canvas and go to a swipe. There is a fair bit of paint on this. So when you have extra paint on there like this, your cards warp a lot quicker, and also your paper towel gets dirtier quicker too. So it doesn't matter, you just take it as it goes. I'm just going to cut off that warped bit so then I can swipe more using that card. Oh, I might have pushed a little bit heavy there and got some white. Yeah, I'm pushing a little bit heavy because the card's smaller, so I'm going to just swap that card out for a new one. Should get really nice cells again. We are. When I use the metallics, I get more cells and less lacing. Quite pleased with the way this is looking. Kind of bit of a red, white and blue style there. Which I didn't actually think of that at first, but it's given me that kind of USA colours in it. Excellent. So this is looking good. I'm getting really cool cells, and some will grow more and some won't. Now I've got to turn this around. I'm actually thinking if I can turn this around and put it in the exact same spot, do I move the whole tray? Now, can I put this down without knocking over any of my little paints on the sides? Oh yeah, I can. Fantastic. Now I'm just going to make sure that we're still in camera angle because I have moved it. We are just a little, try and make it so it's not too crooked. Alrighty. It's looking really good. So as you can see, compared to some of my other ones where I don't use metallics, they actually look quite different. These are a lot more heavier and richer, and they don't go as, you still get little points, but they're not so ghosty as the other ones. So I need another paper towel for my card to wipe it on. Get ourselves another swipe card and try and go roughly where you touched before. So I have a feeling, yeah, I'm relatively in the middle. Getting a little bit of the white come through, I must be pushing a little bit firmer. But because the white and the black are not metallic, they were the ones that would kind of make the cells and the lacing push up through it. So it doesn't really matter if you get a bit of the white come through. Well, that's a big silver one. Or that is just a big clump of silver. That'll look quite interesting. So a lot of these you may not see the full effects until they're dry. And even then, sometimes the full effects, the metallic's there, but until you varnish it, it won't be as rich or bold as you would like. But they'll get there. Really happy with the colours. A little bit of a skip on that side, so I'm going to overlap that slightly. There we go. Well, I think I'm done. I don't think that was a long artwork. It's not an overly huge canvas or board, so 10 by 20 inch isn't too bad, but I have got some pretty cool lacing going on, or some cells. This will settle down a little bit and grow more as the paint ages a bit. As it dries, it kind of ages slightly, and sometimes a few more cells or effects come up. It looks like I do have a bit more silver this side than I have this side, but it could be these have had time to bleed back into the colour. So where are we at? Yeah, that's not looking too bad. So I'm going to pause it and bring you down for a close-up. So there we go. This is what I see from my side. Beautiful red, white, blue and black with some silver added. So really cool. I'm actually really happy how these metallics turned out. And it's different again. See, each time you do it, like there is blues and reds that are kind of one side or the other, but it's a slightly different effect again. So depending on how big or narrow you do your squiggles in the first place, kind of will change the way that you get the colors. So as you can see, they're kind of a lot more larger gaps between the red and the blue, when some of the others it's a lot more narrow. So always just test things out, try different things, have fun. But let's go down and see some of these cells. Look how cool they are. So you've got reds and blues in each other. Over here you've got whites, blacks. There's a whole bunch of ones in there. Blues in the reds, whites. Silver with the red, red and the blue. So they're all really interesting. You get different effects everywhere. These ones are a bit more aged over here. Look at all those ones, they're really cool. And the whole thing isn't absolutely covered in cells, they're just cells randomly where they want to be. Can we go this way without changing camera angle? So as you can see, really nice colours all the way through, nice lacing. And I didn't put a lot of pressure, I put enough to drag the paint, but not enough to actually push right down into the canvas. And that's sometimes what you've got to realise. Sometimes you just got to practice with how much pressure you use on the cards. The paint cards are quite good in my eyes because they're thin and they're bendable. They've got a little bit of pushback, but not too much. I find paper towels and all that just too thin for me. But yeah, so I hope you like this. Just a quick pour. Red, white, blue, black and silver. Well, have a good night everyone, and I will see you for another pour soon. So like, comment, share and subscribe if you have not already. Thanks everyone, see you later, bye.